Friday, a federal judge in Louisiana blocked the White House from ending Title 42. So for now, it'll stay in place. Joining us for more on that is Georgia Congressman and ranking member of the Subcommittee on Government Operations and candidate for Secretary of State in Georgia, Congressman Jody Hice. Congressman, good morning. Great to have you back on.
Always great to be with you, Rob. Thanks.
Good to have you back. Big week for you, I know, but I'd like to start with Title 42. You posted on Twitter just after that Louisiana judge ruled on Friday, quote, "They never had a plan in place to address the historic number of migrants that would flood our southern border. This is a huge win for our national security." But Congressman, what does it tell you that the administration is now willing to fight this in courts again after this ruling to try and appease their base, their liberal base, and maybe the progressive wing of the Democratic Party?
Yeah, it says that this administration has no concern whatsoever with open borders in the United States, as we are watching a flood of drug trafficking, of human trafficking, of criminals coming across our border, disease coming across our border. And the administration not only tries to lift Title 42, but then is going to be suing with any attempt to lift. This is absolutely an outrage, Rob. How in the world can we have an administration that is unwilling to abide by the laws of this land to defend our borders and fights it on every turn? This is their plan. I mean, when we talk about really them not having a plan, that is in reference to not having a plan to defend our border. But they do have a plan, and their plan is wide open borders. And for what reason, who knows? But it is absolutely in contrast to the best interest of the United States of America and our citizens.
Yeah, what do you make of an administration? I don't think I've ever seen this happen this many times. Joe Biden's only been in office for about 17 months now. Basically, the Biden administration will see some bad Biden policy that will then be overturned or overruled by a court. We saw it with vaccine mandates. We saw it with masks. We saw it with masks on planes. And now Title 42. And the Justice Department says they're going to appeal this. How do you think this ultimately plays out? How long will Title 42 stay in place?
Well, it needs to stay in place permanently. Look, all it is saying if a person is coming into our country and is a health risk, they don't need to come into our country. How more common sense can it be? Why would we allow individuals with health risks to come into our country? This is something that should not end. We are all just coming out of this pandemic. We are now looking at potential new problems health-wise around the world. And why in the world would we ever, under any circumstance, lift an attempt that is designed to protect the American people from disease? And then you add to that, Rob, and this is what I continually come back to, is the drugs, the criminals that are coming across our border. Oh, look, we need to finish the wall. We need to secure our border. This is absolute insanity as it relates to our national security interests.
Yeah, and I know we've talked about this before, but Title 42, if you don't want to keep it in place for COVID, keep it in place for fentanyl. That is a disaster that is spinning out of control. We had 100,000 overdose deaths in 2021. We're on pace for more in 2022. I want to pivot now and talk about the baby formula crisis right now. A military plane traveling from Germany just flew in 35 tons of baby formula. It arrived in Indiana over the weekend. Apparently a second flight will land later this week. It's going to take a few days for this to get to store shelves at best. Does this solve the crisis, and why wasn't more done sooner?
No, look, we're grateful for any amount of help that we can get, right? I mean, this is good. We have parents and babies, obviously, that are suffering. We have them right here in the Atlanta area, literally in the hospital. So it's good to be getting formula. But the reality is this is yet again another example of the administration totally unprepared. The Abbott factory has been closed now for weeks.
Right.
Why is it just now this administration getting around to doing something about it?
Yeah, they could have done this a long time ago.
Yeah, this is something that should have been dealt with long ago, and yet again an example of an administration that is ill prepared to handle the issues of our country.
Congressman.